My name is Thomas Whitaker. I'm 68, retired, or so they think. I don't wear suits anymore, and I don't flash watches or ride expensive cars. I live a quiet life, far from the noise of boardrooms and shareholders. But what people don't see is that I still sign the paychecks. It was a Friday evening. My son, Ethan, invited me to dinner at his upscale home in the city. His wife, Amanda, had prepared the table meticulously, candles, polished cutlery, and a scent of something that tried hard to be Italian. She barely looked at me as I entered. Ethan greeted me with a stiff hug. Amanda only nodded. I knew I didn't look like much: baggy pants, an old tweed jacket, and walking slowly with my cane. But Amanda's eyes scanned me like I'd walked in from the street. "Did you come here by bus?" she asked sharply as I sat down. "No, irrevoleably." I walked from the station, I added, needing the air. "Oh," she smirked, pouring wine into her own glass and none into mine. "Old people like you must be used to that kind of travel." Ethan didn't say a word. I chuckled quietly. I had walked the floors of global trade expos in Frankfurt, flown first class more times than I can count. But none of that mattered tonight. Not to Amanda. Throughout dinner, she threw subtle jabs, asking if I needed help cutting my steak, offering to pack leftovers so I could take them home. At one point, she leaned over and whispered to Ethan, not knowing I could still hear quite well. "Can't you give him a little money for a haircut?" she said. "He looks like one of those people who sit outside the train station." I smiled but didn't speak. My appetite disappeared. Finally, as dessert came out, Amanda put down her fork dramatically and said, "Thomas, you really should ask Ethan for help. There's no shame in getting a little support at your age. We know your pension might not be enough." "Do you think I need help, Amanda?" I asked softly. "Well, look at you," she said bluntly. "You came here in secondhand clothes. You live in that old little place across town. And forgive me, but you just look like someone who's struggling." My son still said nothing. Amanda wasn't done. "You know, I used to volunteer at shelters," she added with a grin. I put my fork down. The room was dead silent. "Amanda," I said, folding my napkin, "do you know who owns Whitaker Medical Supplies?" She blinked. "Yeah, it's some old guy, a Mr. Whitaker." "Why?" "Because that old guy," I replied slowly, "still owns 62% of the company. That old guy signs your husband's salary, and that old guy is sitting right across from you." Her mouth fell open. Ethan's face turned ghost white. "Dad, I didn't tell her. I just thought." "No, I didn't. You thought wrong. You let her mock me. You let her belittle me, and you sat there like a stranger." Amanda stuttered. "Wait, you mean you own the company? Ethan works for you." I nodded. "He manages logistics. I trained him myself, but maybe I should have taught him how to stand up for his father, too." The table was ice cold. "I didn't come here to be honored," I continued. "I came because I miss my son, but it seems my presence is only welcome when it's wrapped in silk and money." I stood up slowly. "I hope this dinner was filling," I said, "because tomorrow morning, Ethan, you're relieved of your duties." Amanda gasped. "You're firing your own son?" "No," I said with a calm but heavy voice. "I'm setting a standard, one that says if you can't respect the man behind the work, you don't deserve to benefit from it." I turned to walk away, my cane tapping rhythmically on the marble floor. The next morning, there was a knock at my door at 7:30 a.m. I opened it to see Ethan standing there, teary-eyed. "Dad," he said, "I messed up." I didn't respond. "I let her talk down to you," he continued. "I let my own wife call you a beggar, and I just sat there like a coward." Still, I said nothing. He dropped to his knees. "I forgot who raised me. I forgot the man who built everything from nothing. And I let pride and shame ruin my own soul." I closed my eyes. My hands trembled, not from age, but from hurt. "She never knew who you were," Ethan whispered. "But I did, and I betrayed that." I helped him to his feet. "Ethan," I said, "money comes and goes, but respect that's earned is protected." He nodded silently. "I'm not firing you," I added. "You're quitting until you learn how to be his son again." Tears rolled down his cheeks. Amanda never came. But from that day on, Ethan did every weekend. No suits, no phone calls about stocks, just a father and a son slowly rebuilding what mattered. Because sometimes losing is realizing you were blind to the very gold that fed your entire life.